Greetings, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of One Take. So, today we are going to be speaking about one of my favorite topics ever, emotions. Just kidding. Not one of my favorite topics ever. That'd be like me saying my favorite thing to do with my free time is constantly stubbing my toe. However, emotions play a huge part of our life, both professionally and personally, because regardless of what we like to think or convince ourselves of, emotions play a dominant role in every decision that we make. Every decision, whether you're the CEO of a company or you're just trying to figure out what to eat for breakfast. Emotions play a part in in all of it, a huge part. So let's dive in. So historically speaking, most people look at emotions as some sort of subconscious, uncontrollable response. We're taught the whole fight or flight thing that's part of our brain, that old archaic ancestral croc brain part of our mind, in that we have no control. It's a subconscious response trying to figure out if this is good for us or bad, and if we need to get the hell out of here or we need to step up and get ready to throw down. I guess that's what they mean by the fight part. But there is a different theory on that. A theory that emotions are much more cognitive, meaning that they are much more intentional, and they're not necessarily something that is subconscious, that's out of our hands or our head, so to speak, but something that is more driven by our environment or what's going on in our environment. And that is good for us because that means we can control that a little bit in our delivery of things, whether it's presentations or demos for work, whether it's meetings with coworkers, with peers, subordinates, whether it's discussions with our family, our friends, whatever the case may be, that their response, their emotional response, which is going to drive how they respond overall, isn't necessarily as out of our hands as we think. For a couple of examples, think about something like, I don't know, John Hughes. John Hughes made a career out of creating emotion in a scene, in an environment where the scene and the environment itself wasn't necessarily doing it. I.e., all his music, backtracks, various things like that. Think about what chefs do when they present something. So much of their focus is on presentation because they want to create the emotion. They want to create the happiness before you actually experience it. So then your experience of that food is that much better or actually changed potentially because of the environment, the emotional environment that they've created. If you've ever watched anything in slow motion, how much cooler does that look than if they were just moving normally? Whether it's a hummingbird or some dude lurking down the street. Those are intentionally driven emotional responses. Think about a favorite scene that you have and watch it without the sound. If there's a good backtrack, if there's music, things like that, whatever that drive that emotion. Now, what does this have to do with anything specifically? It means that how we present ourselves, how we present our topic, the energy that we bring to something, the enthusiasm that we bring to something can help even the toughest subjects, the toughest times and moments be better received by the other person. Whether that is garnering excitement during a product presentation or a demo, whether that's delivering tough news to a client or a peer or somebody that works for you, or it's having one of those conversations with a family member or a friend. We can help their response by how we emotionally present it to them. Think about that as sort of that musical accompaniment. You're the John Hughes of your world in how they respond to that. And so emotions aren't as out of our reach as we think. And we actually control them a lot more than we think we do. Think about a type of person that walks into a room and lights up the room. Hell, they didn't even have to say anything. And yet it's changed. And that's where the power of understanding how intentional, how cognitive emotional responses are and how we can work with them to help us both personally and professionally. Think about it. Make it a great week. Make it a great weekend. This has been One Take. Take care.